Welcome, my name's Chris Davis, and today I just wanted to show you how we process our steak. So we do go to US Chef Store and we purchase the ribeye rolls and the New York strip steak rolls. And then my husband, bless his heart, after a 12-hour midnight shift, he volunteered to help me out because, let's face it, no left-handed female from New York should be using a big steak knife to cut steaks. That's my perspective. Leave it alone.
It looks kind of like a steel, but you can kind of see the angle of it. Take one of the smoother rounded sides, not the edge, and you want to hold the same angle this side that you do on that side. And it only takes a couple of times to make sure that it's still sharp. These knives hold a pretty good edge all the time. And you can kind of hear it. Should be exactly the same all the way down. Wipe it off. It'll be sharp. As you can see, there's a little bit of the diamond off of there, but that's just from wiping it. Okay. You're going to want to lay it down so that the fat part is up. You can look at the other side. You want that part down. It doesn't matter which direction it goes. You're going to cut it this way and make steaks out of it. This one's pretty flat on the ends. If it's not flat, you can flatten the end off. I'll cut this end a little bit so that you can see to level it out a little bit. And so you make the steaks as thick as you want them. The thing about a long steak knife is you can see all the way across there, and you don't make short sawing motions, so then your steaks all look like they were sawed and have a bunch of marks in them. So you take it like that, go all the way forward, and you want to just do your best to try and keep it straight up and down. Oh, there's bone in there. Every once in a while, see that? Every once in a while you get a little piece of bone. And so if you get a piece of bone, watch your fingers. But all you got to do is cut that out of there. If I can get a hold of it. You definitely don't want the bone in your steak. There we go. See, that's all a piece of bone. Now we go back into cutting it. That one will be a little bit different because it's not quite, you can see how it's not level on this end because they cut it out for the cow itself that way. Or off of the carcass, I should say. So then you're going to want a steak about however thick you want it. There you go.
We kind of set up an assembly line. This time, since the New York strip steaks were for me and the ribeye roll was for him, we didn't weigh them. So if I'm doing the ribeye rolls, then we'll weigh them because I take the smaller portion, he takes the larger portion. But in this case, it was just all the New York strip are mine, all the ribeye are his, so there was no need to get the food scale out. So I have a Morton all-season salt that I put on there, both sides, as much as you like. My husband likes quite a bit, so his I really load up. But once you get all of that done, in this case it did make 16 steaks, and then we have to package it. Now, this isn't rocket science when it comes to packaging it. I basically was like, you know what, let's put 3 steaks in each package. The goal is just to make sure that there's no exposed meat in the packaging. These don't last long enough for us to like really worry about sealing anything, because these are going to be the steaks for the next 2 weeks. So it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be, you know, grade A, class A, perfect. It just needs to make sure that it's wrapped. Once it's wrapped, then I just put NY on it for New York and the date. Today is July 5th. So then once they're all labeled, then it's time to put them in the freezer. Basically, the freezer, I stack everything newest to the left, so the older stuff is on the right, and then that way you always grab from the right and you're always grabbing the oldest meat that's in the freezer, which in this case, since we don't have our cow yet, it's just 3 weeks old. It's from the last time that I bought steaks. What did this cost us? Well, the New York strip roll was a 17.69 pound roll. At the time that I bought it, it was $10.29 per pound, which came to $182.03. It did make 16 steaks, so that came to $11.38 per steak, which you can't buy that, at least not here. It's usually you go to the grocery store or you go somewhere to sit down and eat, and you know, it's $25, $30 for a steak. So the ribeye, that one was close. It was 17.94 pounds, but it was more expensive because they didn't have the select, so we got the choice, and that was $13.39 a pound, which came out to $240.22. Again, that made 16 steaks for my husband, and so that came out to $15.01. Now, if you saw the size of some of those steaks, some of them are pretty big, and those are easily, you know, $30 cook steaks at the restaurant, which honestly, I have really come to love our cast iron skillet, and maybe I'll make a quick video tonight when I have my steak for dinner on how I love using the cast iron skillet. I mean, it's basically 8 minutes and done, and you have your steak. So hopefully this helps you out. Let me know in the comments. Again, you don't have to do steak if you're doing a carnivore heavy diet, right? Not necessarily straight carnivore, but I consider myself ketogenic because I go between ketogenic, having some romaine lettuce, experimenting with different things, to just straight carnivore. So I kind of bounce back and forth depending on how I feel, honestly. But you can just do ground beef, right? You can do chuck roast. You can do brisket. Last brisket I got was like $3.79 a pound. So who cares, as long as it's cow. So hopefully this helped you. If you did, please let me know any other videos you'd like me to make. And my goal on this channel is to help people live a healthier, more active, less disease-ridden life. So if this helps, please let me know. With that, I wish you a blessed day.